Just less than 12 hours ago, Canon just announced the latest R3 specifications. Now, this is once again like the R5, only a portion of it. But in there, I will talk about 3 very important ones that will matter to probably stills photographer more. I'm Richard, welcome to Zappy Productions. So we'll talk about the R3 and 3 of the specs that, if you ask me, do matter to stills photographer. Firstly, it's the new sensor technology. It's going to be a fast sensor. You will have 30 FPS, but that's not important. The important one is that it will allow you to do flash sync with a speed light. Now, flash sync with a speed light, I assume that Canon there to put this means that it should not be too far off from the A1 capability of 1/200, and definitely it has to be better than almost any camera before that. So I'm looking at something 160, which is the A9 sync speed, all the way to 1/200. So somewhere in between. So Canon will have a sensor that is really fast readout and have the ability to sync. But do note that Canon did say that it is for speedlight flash sync. Now, they left it a bit ambiguous again. Then again, we can hope for the best that Canon make it more, universal and let you sync across any type of flash with electronic shutter. Now, the next thing that I want to cover is the improved autofocus system. There is 2 improvements there. Firstly, it can go down to -7 EV with a 1.2 lens. And secondly, it has monospot AF. Now, why does these 2 things actually matter to autofocus? Because firstly, the -7 EV means that the autofocus system on the R3 is even more sensitive. It can be the sensor being more sensitive, or it can be the algorithm being more sensitive. Either one way, the new autofocus in the R3 is more sensitive than the R5. Will that translate to better performance? Maybe in low light, but I do not know whether in normal light it will translate anything better. Maybe it will, because the R3 is such a huge body. They may go the path of previous 1 series, which have 2 processors and 1 dedicated processor for autofocus, and therefore making it a lot quicker. We do not know for that. But the monospot AF does show a glimpse of where Canon is moving in terms of its AI tracking capability. So it does mean the R3 and the later R1 in the future will have even more of this kind of specialized autofocusing function. And if you ask me, the R5 did a very good job in terms of IAF and animal AF, and I can't imagine how good the monospot AF will be if Canon actually did their job well again. So hands crossed, fingers crossed, Canon will deliver a fantastic autofocus system within the R3 itself. And the last thing I want to talk about, and this spec is in the video spec, but I'm not interested with the video tag because the video tag looks not as exciting as the R5. In fact, the R5 launch announcement on the video spec is probably more exciting. But the important part is that they said this will be an oversampled 4K. If not, it does shoot RAW. Now, they didn't say exactly how many megapixel this camera is, but the fact that they didn't promote 8K like the A1 and the R5 does mean that this camera probably do not have a resolution that is as high as the R5. Now, based on my last calculation, the lowest megapixel you can be on the R5 is like something like 39 or 42, I remember. Something along that range. So the R3 will probably be lower than that, and I'm thinking that it will probably be anywhere from 20-something megapixel to 30-something megapixel, and giving you a RAW of maybe 6K, and you shoot oversampled 4K. And if you actually follow very popular cameras like orders by Panasonic, you'll probably be like 24 megapixels or maybe 30 megapixels doing a 6K or 7K RAW, and does oversampled 4K very well, and maybe you can even do high-speed oversampled 4K. So I'm guessing that this is actually the R3's resolution. Definitely lower than the R5, but probably be better than the A7S III for sure, and probably in the 20-something megapixel region. That's pretty much all I can guess. I cannot guess any more from the announcement itself. Yes, the video capabilities may be a little bit better, and I will definitely say, and I'll put my bet on it, that the R3 will not overheat like the R5 or even the A7S III, which will overheat over time. The R3 will probably not overheat because of its huge body, and Canon would have learned their mistake to put a better heatsink in that camera itself. But that's about it for today. I just want to talk about the R3 latest announcement and really what does it mean to stills photographer. I hope you enjoy my analysis on this announcement itself, and I will see you next time, maybe with the R3 actually on my hand if I can get one. I'm guessing that the price, some say rumor, is below the A1, but I keep my fingers crossed on that because I'm guessing Canon will now launch the cameras cheap, and it will probably be around 9,000 Sing dollars. It's going to be really expensive again. So that's about it for today. I hope you enjoy this, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.